Hello and welcome to another market update after the market closed on the 3rd of February 2023. So we're starting off here with some lines I've drawn on the all-important S&P 500. This is where we always begin looking at the big picture of the big index that pretty much is a benchmark of the world. And any individual trade you've got open or planning to get open, it should be timed really with the flow of the market, because that's generally speaking, there are exceptions, and particularly in the stocks, some of the stocks I trade, the smaller cap ones, but generally this is what's moving your stock trades without people realizing. So last week I said that the bull market was over and the bigger action was ahead, but it was due for a pullback. The market didn't care about that. It just pushed ahead anyway. So there it was last week. It broke out of this wedge, and now a new wedge formed after last week, and it broke out of that one. So there it is. So this market just wants to keep pushing higher, and there's another uptrend now on the RSI, which is another great indicator. So that's the picture now. It's pushing high. Let's look at the short-term picture. And I've drawn an arrow here for what's called, I mentioned this last week, the golden cross, where the 50-day crosses the 200-day, which usually means higher prices ahead. Although I've found that in the shorter term, that typically means there's a pullback in prices just after the golden cross. So that looks like what happened on Friday. The market keeps getting spooked by anything that shows in numbers that means that the Fed's going to keep raising rates. But as long as it doesn't cross this blue line here at around 4075, which is that line of resistance there, it can pull back to there. That's just fine, as long as it holds there. But it could be justified in coming down further, which is very typical for just after getting a golden cross, which, medium term means short, means higher prices ahead. Other indicators I'm looking at said this market does have some room to run. I think this week is really anyone's guess about which way it goes. It could push a bit higher, it could push a bit low. It's definitely got legs. We do go into a full moon cycle now, so that's going against the market, and that's something important I look at every week. Dow Jones will be well off to push above this level here, the line I've drawn there around 34,000. That would definitely be a plus there. Nasdaq similarly, it's kind of at a resistance point here. If this week it could climb above that, it would be good. But in any case, all the indexes have broken the downtrend, and that's what's important. That means the end of this downtrend, and it's going to be pushing high. The only question now is how much higher can it push? And it's going to be a struggle because you've got all these people who bought up here are looking to sell on the way up, and you've still got all the bears who are thinking otherwise. So it's an interesting situation. It's kind of no man's land. It's not a bear, it's not a bull, it's what I like to call a fox, and it's kind of anyone's market. But like I keep saying, higher prices are ahead. There's the dollar. I'm zooming in on the dollar this week for Forex traders. Just to remind you that uptrend is broken. And there is a death cross, what's called the other way around from a golden cross, a death cross there on the dollar, because everything obviously is pegged against the dollar in Forex trading. So that's definitely, dollar is into a downtrend now, and that's kind of a general shift. Although you can see there on Friday, the market got spooked about the inflation data, or employment data to be specific. So there's the bonds, the TLT, and I've been saying that this is actually the real reason why interest rates keep rising, because nobody's buying American bonds. So that line here at around 106, 107, this week it looked close. It was just close to breaking, and then we had that employment data on Friday and it retreated. It's on that resistance level there, and again, it's kind of no man's land right now. Copper, as I keep saying, this is the star of the show that's saying, look, it's looking ahead, and copper is now in an uptrend. Copper is called Dr. Copper for a reason. It's saying that, I'm actually seeing good things ahead. There is the America's housing market. I always report in on that. There's that uptrend that we all saw, and it's correcting now, as we are still seeing. And let's look at gold. As I said last week, gold was stretched, and sure enough, this week it came tumbling down, especially on talk of any interest rate rises, because gold doesn't pay any interest, don't forget. And let's finally look at oil. And oil is in this sideways motion. It's looking more and more bearish, though. The 40-week moving average has rolled over and the price is below it. That's definitely a sick looking chart for oil there. Star of the show this week, very interesting, and it was on a missed earnings, was Meta, or Facebook as it used to be called. And you can see there on that action this week, that is incredibly bullish because it wasn't even on good news. Like I've been saying for weeks now, this market just wants to go higher, and when it's a market is in that mood, it doesn't care about the news so much. It's just going to do what it's going to do, and that's a great chart to finish off to kind of summarize that concept. Okay, that's all for this week. I will speak to you next time.